Hey, what is up? Today we are back with another new video on a different brand. Today we are looking at the ESP Tiger. Now if we go to the website, you can see ESP Tiger is kind of like a famous brand, well known for its PTFE skates. I've bought some of them for my Death Adder Elite in the past, and they're not just famous for their PTFE skates, but they're also very famous for their mouse pads. Now they've been in the mouse pad game for a while now, and to be honest with you, their mouse pads are kind of confusing. Not because they have a lot of graphics on them, but there's just a boatload of these mouse pads. You can see so many designs, so many different kinds of surfaces, and if you look at the new ones, they're absolutely incredible. They've got very detailed, intricate designs. They look like they're very colorful and vibrant in their presentation, but if you look at their older ones, maybe just over even a year ago, you can see that they're not as sharp or as high quality. This one is quite a popular one. It's called the Wuji, but you can see that this is not as clear and vibrant as the newer models that they have here. If you can see, if I'm a 12-year-old girl, this is the one that I would definitely go for. This cat and the butterfly, it looks absolutely amazing. The print looks great, the graphics and the color looks vibrant. I really dig that kind of design. This one as well, pink, kind of like a dragon, but it looks very sharp and the colors look very vibrant. But what I have for you today is something from the old school, kind of an older model. This is what I got, the Grandmaster Ling, and here it is right in front of your eyes. This is it. But first, before we take a look at the pad, let me show you the box it comes in. Absolutely incredible packaging. It looks really nice, really expensive looking. It looks like it's premium quality. It has even a little sleeve that you can take out, and then when you unbox it, I'll just take it out and show you what's inside. It looks very premium. It looks like, if you're buying some kind of like Chinese, exquisite tea or expensive tea, this is what you get. But I don't like the plastic that's inside, although it's nice and it's protecting the product, but I think this is really unnecessary. Inside there is some literature as well stuck to it, and then there's some silica for you to keep your mouse pad dry. But let me move this out of the way so that I can show you the pad itself. If you look at the pad, you can see it is a bright pink with some with an Uzi design printed on top of it. Some people will like it, some people won't. I'm not against it. I prefer, well, I wouldn't say I prefer, I'm used to a solid color kind of mouse pad, but I'm not against some design. I think it's something different. They're offering something different. Some people will like it. I'm not sure whether I like it or dislike it. I don't mind it at all, actually, to be honest with you. And like I was saying, if I was a 12-year-old girl, I'd definitely go for the cat and the butterfly. In fact, I might even go for that regardless, because the design looks so nice. This one, Uzi with pink roses. Now let's just talk about this design to begin with. The design printed, of course. You can't feel it when you're hovering your mouse over it, no problem with it. But if you take a look at the color, you can see that the pink on the outside of the Uzi and the pink on the inside of the Uzi, it's a different shade of pink. It looks like what's happened here is they printed the pink accents on the Uzi itself. So the Uzi is black, and then when you print some pink over the black Uzi, the pink in the Uzi itself looks kind of muted and a little dull. In fact, from the naked eye right in front of you, it looks like, you know, it looks like it's kind of like worn down. It looks like, it gives you the impression like this area of the pad is worn down, but actually it is not. It is the shade of pink printed over the black that makes it look a little bit more muted, while the pink outside of the Uzi is more vibrant and bright. So that would be my only complaint of the design, if I had a complaint. Other than that, I really have no issue with the design itself. In fact, if you look at the black outside of the rose, there is some silhouette of the rose as well, which is kind of like in gray color. Really cool looking design. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Is it for me? I'm not sure yet, but I do accept that it is pretty cool and pretty unique. Let's talk about the pad itself. The pad, it says on the page that this is a speed pad with an SR base. Now, I don't know what an SR base is, but if I had to compare it, I can compare it to a soft pad from Artisan. I would say this is an S pad from Artisan. It is definitely not an extra soft. This is definitely harder than an extra soft. So I would say this is closer to a soft pad of if you compare it to an Artisan. The size itself as well is 48 by 40 or 480 by 400, so it is slightly smaller than an Artisan mouse pad, but the size itself is no problem. I think 480 by 400 is you know, pretty useful. No problem for me getting used to this size, even though it is just a smidgen smaller than the Artisan. I have no problem with it. The density of the pad, no problem. I feel it's fine. The surface itself, it says this is a synthetic fiber cloth. Now, the reason why I was so drawn to this mouse pad is because a lot of people say this is very reminiscent of an Artisan Raiden, and I have to agree, it does feel very much like a Raiden. It has some kind of a synthetic kind of feeling on the material itself, you know, just like the Artisan Raiden, which is some kind of polyester synthetic, or a combination of polyester synthetic mixed with cloth surface. So I do feel that it is, yeah, it is like a Raiden. But one thing you need to know about the surface is, even though this is a fast pad, it is by no means, how would I say this? It is very different if you are using a glass pad, glass skates, or if you are using a PTFE skate, and I will demonstrate it to you here. If you look at the glass skates, the mouse comes to a abrupt stop, but if you are on PTFE skates, it comes to a smoother stop. So let's show you again. PTFE skates, it comes to a smoother stop, while the glass skates come to a more abrupt stop. It just stops suddenly. Now, I'm not going to say it's slower than the PTFE skates, because I have no problem with the glass skates and the PTFE skates. It's a different experience. Let me demonstrate to you. That's glass, that's PTFE. That's glass, that's PTFE. The PTFE skates just seem to travel a little bit longer. It comes to a smoother stop, while the glass skates comes to a more abrupt stop, even when I'm spinning it, or when I'm sorry about that, or when I'm pushing it off. It's more of a abrupt stop there, while the PTFE skates more of a smoother glide when it comes to a smoother stop. So both have its attributes. They both have a different way of playing. So if you get a mouse pad like this, a synthetic mouse pad, I feel like it's going to have a different kind of experience whether you are using PTFE skates or glass skates. They're both great, but you get a different kind of performance or a feeling when you are using it for your games. Neither is necessarily better. It depends on your preference, what you like. So you've got to find out for yourself if which kind of skates suit which kind of mouse pad. Now, as for me, I find that this mouse pad is really fast, and it is just as fast as textured kind of mouse pad, which is like maybe an Artisan Hien or an Odin Infinity, which is what I have here. A textured kind of mouse pad, which is, you kind of get used to this type of mouse pad. When you want a speedy mouse pad, what you get normally when you go for a speedy mouse pad is a textured surface. And on an Odin Infinity mouse pad, which is kind of like sandpaper, 200 grit, 400 grit sandpaper, the glass skate is going to slide a lot smoother, a lot further, a lot faster, while the PTFE is not going to slide, or is not going to be as fast as glass skates. So that is the difference between a smooth fast pad and a textured fast pad. So a textured fast pad, maybe your PTFE skates is not as quick as glass skates, but on a smooth fast pad, your PTFE skates might be faster than your glass skates. Now let me move this Odin away and go back to the ESPTiger. And there's one more thing I discovered about the ESPTiger is it is susceptible to the humidity, but only on glass skates. Now, I've had this pad for a while. With the glass skates, I found that it got a little bit stuck in the middle of the pad. Saying stuck makes it sound like it's really bad. It's not. But I did notice that humidity and my greasy, sweaty palms does affect the performance of the glass skates on this particular pad. But on PTFE skates, there is absolutely no effect at all. Even over time, even though there is some build up on the mouse pad from sweat and dirt over weeks of use, there is no effect when you are using PTFE skates. I find that it's no problem, it's just fine. But on glass skates and sweat and grime build up on the pad, it will affect the feel of the skates. I don't want to say it's negative because it did not affect me negatively, but you do feel it's a bit smoother and faster on the sides, and then in the middle it's a little bit slower. So there is a feeling of humidity and grime affecting this mouse pad, but it is easily overcome just after a wash. How do you wash it? Take it to your bathtub, put some laundry detergent over it, and scrub it with a nice soft bristle brush, and you're good to go. It becomes fresh and new again. And then after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, clean it off again, and then just rinse and repeat, no problem. Another positive about this pad is it's got the edges that are sewn edges that are lower than the pad. Much like an Artisan, you're not going to feel any kind of bump when you run your mouse over the edges of the pad, which makes it really premium feeling. Now, if I was to look for a mouse pad, let's say I want to buy a Raiden, but I don't want to pay $65 for $70 for a Raiden, this is a great alternative, because this, depending on where you are, this is around $35, $40, depending on where you come from. This is a great alternative to the Raiden. As far as I know, the Raiden is not affected by humidity and sweat and greasiness and muckiness from your fingers over time. This one kind of is, but it's nothing you cannot overcome with a quick wash. So if you want to save yourself $30-40, and I think this is a great alternative to the Artisan Raiden. I'm really pleased with it. I'm glad I found this mousepad, because this mousepad comes with a lot, very highly recommended from a lot of people who say this is a great alternative to an Artisan Raiden. Save yourself some money, get yourself an ESPTiger. I wish I had more examples of ESPTigers to try out and to review for you guys, because I find that this is an absolutely fantastic deal of a mousepad. I'd like to have a chance to get my hands on more of these mousepads and review them for you. Hope you found this interesting and got some useful information, and if you did, please give this a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.